Hey everyone, so I'm back again. This time I have remembered to flip the video both horizontally and vertically. This time I am working on a bust badge for my friend Tehbet. I actually have 3 of her badges here, 2 for her and 1 for her partner, 6. But for this one, I guess it's gonna be kind of a series. This one I've only done the bust there that you can see down in the middle. So this video is a bit more sped up than my last one, and it's actually significantly shorter. So I've also cut out a lot of the time where I've taken little breaks. My other video, I kind of left in the time that I took breaks, I guess, if that makes sense. So this one I'm just going to focus more on the actual time that I worked on things. And so it's also sped up. So with this one, I had sketched out all 3 of them more or less, and I'm just finishing the small tweaks there on the top left one, adding in the pair of underwear as well as the fur tufts and her name. So with these, I really like how they look. Even as a sketch, I always like things more when they're in the sketch form than when they're lined. Every time I line something, I was like, oh goodness, I could have done X, Y, and Z so much better than I actually did. So I really wanted these to, not quite, I didn't want to let myself get too caught up in putting all of the details in the sketch, because the sketch is kind of supposed to be loose. It's the line art where, at least what I found, it's the line art where you kind of get into all of the nitty-gritty. So with this, I wanted to kind of have the idea there, and then obviously in the line art I would clean it up a little bit more. But with these ones, I'm probably not gonna do so much, just because I really like how they look, and I don't think I need to make anything more defined than what they already are. So I'm really excited about these. I've done a lot of what I call the butt badges, which are the top 2 ones, the one on the right and the left. I've done a lot. I have a few that I need to mail out to a few people because I didn't see them at the last convention I went to. But I'm also going to be working on more bust badges. So maybe not quite exactly like how Tehbet's badge is, but something similar. It all depends on what the people, what the commissioner wants. This is just a trade, I guess, because she's been dyeing my hair, so goods and services. Yeah, so for this I'm using my Copic liners. I believe that one in particular right there is the 0.3. Yeah, I'm using the 0.3, and then later on I bring out the brush medium for the big outline out on the complete outside of it. I go around the whole thing. And I actually forgot to turn off autofocus. I just realized. So the camera might go in and out, and I apologize for that. I'll remember to make sure that autofocus isn't selected. Those tiny scissors are actually my yarn scissors, and I couldn't find that big pair of scissors right there because my partner had left them in my truck and didn't tell me. So then I found them and I was like, curses. So I'm going over all of the fine details here with the 0.003. It's really hard to stay on track when I've got everything sped up this much. But yeah, so I'm going over the fine details with the 0.003, which is the smallest one I have in my Copic liners. I go all the way from 0.003 to brush tip medium. And I'd actually blown on my badge to get the line art to dry faster. That's why it kind of floated up my desk there for a second. Probably could have waited a little bit longer for the lines to dry before erasing it, but the only thing that happened was that they became a little faded. And then sweeping up, doo-doo-doo, and then it's all the way over there in the corner, so I got really intense about sweeping all of the eraser shavings over. And so, okay, so for this badge, I mostly use my Copic and my Artist Loft. That's what they are. So those ones. The 3, as well as the one that's in my hand right now. So the ones that aren't laying flat. I have one Copic Sketch or Copic Chow. I don't know what that dark gray is in the middle. I think it's a sketch. But the 3 kind of earthy tones right there on the far right are called Artist Loft, as well as the green that I have in my hand right now. That's an Artist Loft. And I got those from Michael's. So those were kind of they're alcohol markers as well, but I can tell that they're not as high a quality as Copic just because they've been sitting in my little Shibi pencil case for a while, and the tips are kind of, they must look like the ink is growing on the tip, I guess. It's hard to explain. I kind of stare at it for a few minutes and I had to cut it out. But it's like the ink pools in certain parts on the tip, and then, I don't know. They still work, and they don't bleed, so I'm going to use them until they're dead. So, but I'm actually really happy with this because I went a little bit out of my comfort zone again. All of these videos are going to be me going out of my comfort zone, let's be honest. But with this one, I went especially out of my comfort zone with shading. Shading traditionally really makes me nervous. So I'm quite pleased with how it looks and how I was able to blend it out with the light gray that I used, or I guess it's a darker gray, the warm gray, that's a better term, that I used for shading after the advice of my friend Deanna. She told me to shade with warm grays. So that's what I'm doing. I only have one warm gray. The other one, well, I have more, but they're not quite what I would consider shading markers. They're the touch first ones and they bleed. So I don't trust them. But I have that cool gray right there. That's the Copic, and that's kind of what I use when I don't want to color things black, just because it's super dark. So I'm probably gonna buy some more Artist Loft warm grays and go from there and learn how to shade and push the boundaries of alcoholic markers. And I'm super happy with the bra in this, just because of the gradient that I put on it. It bled a little bit, just because I was silly and I didn't have anything underneath. Yeah, there it is. I didn't have anything underneath the badge to kind of soak up the excess marker, so every now and then you see me frantically checking underneath the badge to make sure that it doesn't have like a little puddle of marker. But the marker bleeding underneath the bra there is what helped me kind of push myself and decide how much I wanted to shade the piece. I wanted to kind of leave it a flat piece, but then with the marker bleeding, I was like, well, now I gotta shade. So I'm actually really happy that it was kind of like a happy little accident. Bob Ross would be proud. So, but yeah, I work on the skin a little bit here, and I kind of get it to, or not skin, the fur. She's very tan, silly me. But I work on the fur, and I get it to how I wanted it, and then I go back to finish the gradient on the bra, just because it's not done. And then I just really like how it all came together. They're all really earthy tones, so despite being a warm gray, some greens, and some sand colors, as Artist Loft calls them, they all blended really well together, to be honest. So I was really happy with how it turned out. I really like doing gradients, and those 3 greens that I have, the 2 Copics and the 1 Artist Loft, I've actually done gradients with them before on a bigger scale and not quite so circular. I did it for the background of one of the badges I did, and I really liked it when I did that. So when I remembered that I had those greens, I was very excited to do the gradient, especially when her character's hair is kind of a teal green with purple tips. So I didn't quite have a purple that would look as nice. So I decided to just go with the green theme, especially with the fact that she's mostly earthy sand colors. So I really think it all kind of, it feels very put together. A lot of my other traditional pieces probably aren't as color harmonized as this one, if I'm gonna be completely honest. They're just like, what looks neat? Okay, this does. we'll do that. So with this one I kind of pushed it, and I went more with what color would work together. And then I actually found my silver jelly roll, so the rings there actually have sparkles and they shine. And I'm blowing on it because it takes forever to dry. So here I am. I brought out the, what was that? I think I used the 5 Copic liner there. So, or no, it was the 8. And I really don't like how the 0.8, the 0.8 draws, I guess is the best way to say it. It's a very stiff nib. So I dug out my brush small I used for this one actually. So I think for a lot of them, I'm not gonna quite use them for lining or for shading, I don't think. The thought of shading with 00 black kind of, I don't like the thought, if I'm being honest. So I'll probably just use them for big lines like that. And then I go over the bow and the bra with the 0.5 just to kind of give it a bit more definition. So I really like how the lines look. They look very soft with all the inks that I've laid on top of them. But I also like having more weight to lines. A lot of my more cartoony, well, not necessarily cartoony, but less realistic pieces have heavier lines, and I really wanted to push myself with that. So I'm overall, I'm super happy with this badge, and she likes it too, so that makes me happy. But I am also super looking forward to finishing the rest of this series, I guess you could call it, of badges. So I'm going to record myself doing those as well, and I will post those as they get done. This one will probably be a bit until I post it from when I recorded it, so from right now it'll be a while, just because I have other things that I also need to upload. But yeah, and then I've got glue. This time I went to the dollar store and I bought a 4-pack of glue for like $1.50. So I'm super pleased about that purchase. I'll probably go to the dollar store for all my glue purchasing needs from now on, using a coaster to spread over the pressure, and then using the big scissors to cut out the badge. And then I realized that my camera didn't, that I left autofocus on when I was looking at the badge. I kind of had this recording on my second monitor just so that I could peek at it every now and then and make sure that I was still in frame. So then I realized that my camera kind of focuses on stuff, so I was like, oh, I'll just show the badge a little bit closer. So this is the this is the best I could do with what I had. But I'm super happy with it. I like it a lot. So I just want to say thank you to all of my patrons. If you want to see more videos like this, you can pledge to my Patreon. The videos like this, you'll probably see them about a week before it goes public. The tier is $15, and you get a whole bunch of other rewards on top of that, as well as the, I'm hoping the monthly progress videos. I'll obviously do more once I have more support, but this is kind of like an extra add-on. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.